Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
We have a world star. Ladies and gentlemen, the Champions League this week. A lot of headlines. Atalanta with a historic performance for them, a 4-1 victory over Valencia. That's great. Leipzig makes a statement in their first knockout stage Champions League match with a 1-0 win on the road against an English side. Liverpool had their worst performance, many would say, in about 12 months, and now they're down heading into the second leg. But the story of the Champions League this week, and what should be the story in world soccer, is a young man, a 19-year-old, blonde-haired Norwegian wunderkind named Erling Braut Haaland. He's 6'3" to 4", rangy, athletic, sharp, strong, and he scored 2 goals against PSG in a Champions League match, including a left-footed stunner from outside the box, which was past the keeper before you can even blink. It was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from a player in a Champions League tie at that age. Truly incredible what Erling Haaland did. If you don't know who this guy is, if you haven't had a chance to watch him now. Because Robert Lewandowski, we talk about his success in the Bundesliga. He's one of the most deadly strikers in the world. He's done it at all levels against all competitions. He's a legend. He scores at an incredible rate. Every 85 minutes in the Bundesliga, Robert Lewandowski finds a way to score a goal. That's an incredible rate. Erling Haaland so far, 38 minutes per goal. 11 appearances, 13 goals. Incredible stuff. He knows right where to be. He's this classic, big-bodied number 9, like Lewandowski, but he's fast. He's faster. He's brilliant with his left. He hits with power and accuracy on his shots. He knows exactly where to be in the right place. He can sneak around. And he's only 19. He's getting better. As he gets better managers, as he gets better mentors, as he plays more world-class soccer, this kid's only getting better. This is not some sort of weird magical run. This is talent at another level. And that's exactly what Erling Haaland demonstrated in that Champions League match. To give you an idea of how impressive this kid is, let's take a look at his stats after 100 club games compared to some of the greatest players that have ever lived. And all these guys were the same age that Haaland is. How about Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappe? Those are 3 good players to compare, right? Well, through the first 100 club games for Erling Haaland, which he's at exactly 100 professional club matches, played for Salzburg in Austria and has moved to Dortmund, Haaland has 60 goals and 14 assists. Now, the closest to him is Kylian Mbappe, 48 goals, 31 assists. So really good, distributed. Mbappe started more. Messi in his first 100, 41 goals, 17 assists. That's incredible. Those two were legitimately thrilling, exciting players. And Mbappe might end up into one of the world's best. Messi is arguably the greatest player of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo in his first 100. Not as impressive, but still impressive. 14 goals, 16 assists. And then he really started to develop. Erling Haaland has 60 goals, 14 assists. 60 goals. This kid knows how to find the net. He's got everything I want in a striker. I've got size. I've got speed. I have power and accuracy on shots. I have intellect, a way to move around the box, a way to find space, how to follow, how to clean up. And then I have this. This, I think, is the most important for an elite level striker. This carefree joy of scoring goals and an intensity about it that's just rare. Right? I want my striker to be so hungry for goals that it's all he has fun doing. He's out there, and Haaland has that, man. He's got that look in his eye. He has it. I don't know what it is, because if I did, we'd all be professional players if we all knew what it was. But he has it. He's there when the ball falls to him. He knows how to be in the right place. He plays with joy and energy, and he seeks goals like a guided missile. He's a world star. He's got 10 Champions League goals, people. Now, some with Salzburg in the qualification rounds, but he's got goals. And he just scored 2 against PSG in a Champions League round of 16 match. And don't be surprised if he doesn't keep scoring. He is also a huge draw for television in my eyes. Listen, soccer players, great soccer players, are fantastic to watch. Right? I love watching a great soccer player. Right? Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, these small, quick guys where the ball looks like it sticks to their foot like glue. It's almost magic to watch Messi dribble. But especially here in the United States, a country where our greatest athletes are legends of size and speed and strength. They are elite humans. You see them when you're walking around, you go, wow, that's LeBron James. Wow. Right? That's Shaquille O'Neal. Wow. That's Peyton Manning's tall. Tom Brady's big. Like, wow, that's Mean Joe Green, this large, super athletic star. And Haaland is that. He's like Ronaldo in that aspect. He's strong. He's fast. He's good with his feet. He plays with power. That left-footed strike into the top corner, boy, oh boy, was that fun to watch. And that fits the American sensibilities for star athletes. He just looks bigger and stronger than everybody. The fact is, kid's only 19. Only going to get bigger, only going to get stronger. And he should lean into that. Keep that speed. Keep that strength. Become a hyper athlete. Enjoy the game. Make your money and score a bunch of goals for a bunch of teams. Right? This is why Americans love Zlatan. Big, strong, fast. This kid's faster than Zlatan. He's not Zlatan yet. Still got a lot of ways to go. But man, I'm watching highlights right now. I have it on the big TV in our studio, and he's just unbelievable to watch. He's always in the right spot. He's smart. Add that in with an unbelievable urge to score, insane athleticism and speed. And all he has to do is improve his first touch a little bit, and he'll be a $100 million player, already valued at $66 million. That's before the 2 goals in this Champions League tie. So I imagine he'll be worth $70 million. He's brilliant. Excellent. One of his goals actually was assisted by Gio Reyna. We've talked about Gio Reyna. Why? He's an American. So that's exciting. We'll have 4 Champions League matches to break down. I'll break those down and preview the second tie. Shorter show today, but Erling Haaland, an absolute star. Legitimate, bona fide, no doubt about it. This kid's going to be scoring goals for a very, very long time. Star. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not a random occurrence. It's not luck. This guy is a star. And he's got that, the face and the hair, and you can definitely hate him And that's important to being a star too in sports. You can be hated. If you have a way of playing, an attitude, and you can be hated by some people that don't like you or loved, that's the perfect way to be. This kid's incredible. Can't wait to talk about Dortmund, his team's performance against PSG, what that means moving forward, and the other Champions League matchups from this week. You're listening to the GSMC Soccer Podcast.
Are you looking to get your college football fix? Looking to get the latest news on your favorite school's team? The GSMC College Football Podcast is your ticket to all things college football. Join us as we talk college football from the national championship, the college rivalries, the bowl game, to the Heisman Trophy. To which conference is the best? We've got you covered for the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, the Pac-12, ACC, and everything in between. Download the GSMC College Football Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
A lot of fun watching the Champions League this weekend. Dortmund, PSG, Atletico, Liverpool, Atalanta, Valencia, Tottenham, and Leipzig. I picked Tottenham, Atalanta, PSG, and Liverpool, and I was wrong with everybody except Atalanta, which was the layup of the weekend, honestly. Valencia is the worst team left, and I didn't think that 4-1 would happen, but man, that's what happened. And we'll break that one down a little bit, but I wanted to start with the highlight games. Those were the games on Tuesday. You start with PSG versus Dortmund. I said expect goals. They ended up happening. 2-1 ended up being the score with Borussia Dortmund winning. They happened. It took a while, right? Haaland scored twice, once in the 69th, once in the 77th minute. Neymar scored once in the 75th. So you had this real nice 10 minutes of excitement and then a lot of real good excitement down the stretch. But Haaland with 2 goals gets them to win. PSG outpossessed Dortmund 53-47. And watching that one, PSG is forward-facing. They've got a lot of talent up front. You love Di Maria, Neymar, and Mbappe. Dortmund finally cleaned it up defensively. They really did play well defensively. It's like they understood the importance of the moment. They allowed the home crowd to kind of motivate them and carry them. And they finally played defense well. And they did a good job against PSG. And it allowed them to score 2 goals against a world-class side and take a 2-1 advantage into the second leg. Now, 2-1 at home, not the best way to win a leg. You love winning the leg either way. You love winning the leg, obviously. You're up 1 now in the aggregate. But you gave up an away goal, and that means if PSG goes up 1-0, they might try to sit on that. You have to score if you're Dortmund in Paris. You've kind of set up that situation where you have to score in Paris. 2 goals, forget about it. So if Haaland has himself another brace, well, then Dortmund's going to advance. And just, I don't know if Dortmund can keep up that type of defensive performance in the second leg. I hope they can, because I want this Haaland kid in the tournament as long as possible. I mean, I hope he can find a way to keep scoring and keep scoring and keep scoring goals. Because that was fun to watch. I love Neymar. He's fun to watch. Mbappe, fun to watch. It ain't like Haaland. It really isn't. I think it might be the American in me from watching all that basketball, but watching that kid move up and down the pitch and hit that 77th minute beauty was awfully entertaining. And he's smiling and he's laughing and he seems innocent at the same time having this look about him that he's going to take your soul and score. I love it. Who do I think is going to win the second part of this leg? Off the top, I really think that PSG will find a way at home. I just don't think – I've seen Dortmund's defense enough this year to question whether they'll hold PSG to 1 goal in the next tie. I think they'll give up 2 or 3. And if you give up 2 or 3 at home, it's just going to be about whether they can score or not. And it's a tough environment in Paris. And I like PSG as a team a little bit more. So it's tough for Dortmund. If their defense can hold, though, they'll win this tie. And they'll advance, which would be awfully entertaining if they advanced. I would be super excited, obviously, because we'll get to see Haaland, an American, and Gio Reyna, who had a really good performance in his opportunity to play, came in off the bench. And he got an assist. A lot of fun in that tie. Other tie from Tuesday that I want to dive into and talk about was Liverpool-Atletico Madrid, which was the shock of the week. Atletico with a 1-0 win at home over Liverpool. Liverpool didn't score. Atletico scored on a weird corner in the 4th minute. And after that, it was, let's play intense defense, let's sit back, and let's try to win this leg 1-0. And go into Liverpool with a lead, or we can park the bus. And you know what? If they beat us 1-0 at home, we get to go into penalties. They didn't give up an away goal, which was crucial. If Liverpool would have scored over the last 20 minutes or so, which they had a few opportunities to, if they would have found a way to put a goal in, it would have ended the tie, to me. Because I don't think Atletico is going to go into Liverpool already having surrendered an away goal. It'd be hard for me to imagine Atletico finding a way to score more than 1 goal. And I listened to Jurgen Klopp's press conference after this one. I really still like Liverpool in this. I think that they will have a major bounce-back performance in the second leg. I think Atletico rode an incredibly energetic home crowd, an incredibly energetic manager, and an early goal. That momentum kind of rocket shipped them all the way to the top. And they were just energetic and into it, and it was going to be a hard day to beat Atletico Madrid. And maybe you thought Liverpool could steal a goal, and that would have been the end of the tie. Atletico's gave themselves an opportunity by holding on. I still think it's Liverpool in the second leg. I still think Liverpool is the better team. I think it was just an early goal, parked the bus, a lot of energy, rocket shipped into the atmosphere by Simone and everybody on the sideline. I think it is Liverpool's tie to win. I think it's PSG's tie to win, although Dortmund with an advantage. I see these two flipping in the second leg, although one of them probably won't. I just think PSG and Liverpool are the better teams. Liverpool, they're going to bounce back from this. I'm pretty confident that they'll win leg 2 and find a way. They just can't give up a goal. You give up an away goal, they'll be in trouble. Just can't give up a goal. And I think they're defensively tight. I think that first goal that Atletico scored was true luck, and it happens, and Liverpool just couldn't find a way to respond. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about the other 2 matchups from the Champions League this week. Atalanta with a dominant 4-1 win. They are going to be a quarterfinal team over Valencia. They were much better than Valencia, much better than I thought they were better than Valencia. Although I picked Atalanta, it was my only right pick from the weekend. And we'll discuss Tottenham, Leipzig. Can Leipzig, Dortmund, and Bayern, can there be 3 German teams in the quarterfinals? Certainly on the table. Bayern plays next week. Obviously, we'll break that down on another show. A lot of fun still coming up on the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Talk to you on the other side of the break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Champions League, so fun, so exciting. Atalanta made it exciting. Goals in the 16th, 42nd, 57th, and 62nd minute. 4-1 victory over Valencia. They're up 4-0 at one point. And that tie's over. You don't need to watch the second leg there. Valencia at home won't matter. They're having a bad year. They're the worst team in this round of 16. Actually, quite incredible they got to this point. And I thought that Valencia had the only matchup. There is not a single other team in the round of 16 that Valencia, I thought, would have an opportunity to beat. The only one where I thought they might be competitive was Atalanta, who's had a really good year in Serie A. And, no, they don't. 4-1. Buried. Forget about it. Absolute thriller of a match from Atalanta. And when you look at this summary, it's just so one-sided. I mean, they played so well. 51% possession. Valencia ripped a few more shots. And Atalanta, actually, 4 of 5 of their shots went in. But if you're Valencia, this is just not going to happen in Leg 2. You just don't have enough talent. Exciting, though, for the Serie A squad, Atalanta, because check this out. You're probably going to the quarterfinal, and I'm not sure there's another team, maybe if they draw a Leipzig or a Tottenham, that they would match up with better, that they might be able to find a way into the semifinal. Knowing the way this works and the universe works, they'll probably match up with a Juventus or a Bayern or one of those big teams, Man City or Real Madrid. Which next week in the Champions League, gonna be fun. Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern, and Chelsea. Juventus playing as well. We'll break that one down on Monday. That should be a really fun week of Champions League matches. Cannot wait for that. But congratulations, Atalanta. I feel like you've advanced to the quarterfinal. We've seen way crazier things in the Champions League, but it would be shocking if Valencia, who I think was 16 out of the 16 teams, doesn't get eliminated this upcoming weekend. So I think Atalanta headed to the quarterfinal. We take a look at 538. Obviously, they've updated this, the UEFA Champions League. The round of 16 next week, Barcelona playing next week as well. So that's a lot of fun. We take a look at the odds. Valencia now down to 4% to make the quarters, which is rough. They are below 1% to win the final. Atalanta moved up to 96% to make the quarters. As we go through the first leg, Leipzig with their 1-0 win, they are now sitting at 87% to make the quarterfinals. RB Leipzig. After the 1-0 win, Timo Werner with a penalty against Tottenham. Tottenham just doesn't feel like a team that's destined for a quarterfinal, especially they have that at home. Now they have to go to Germany in Leipzig. Leipzig has an away goal. 1-0 win away. That's huge. I think Leipzig certainly is headed through. And that's what I noticed from that leg is Tottenham just doesn't have the weapons without Harry Kane. And Leipzig's the better team. And I think they'll advance to the quarterfinals. We look at 538. Atalanta now, the highest percentage to make the quarters makes sense, having a 3-goal lead. Leipzig, 87%. Now to make the quarterfinals, Barcelona at 80%. They have yet to play. Bayern Munich at 76%. They have yet to play. Juventus, 75%. They have yet to play. Man City at 64%. Liverpool at 55%. So Liverpool's still the favorite to advance, even with Atletico's win. But it's close. It's 50-50. It just got way more interesting. Dortmund, 52%. It's close against PSG. And then you go through the rest of the list. You can just match up the percentages with who's left. But you look at the 3 German teams, and I think that this is, so what league, in terms of the teams that are plus 50%, over 50% as of right now to make the quarterfinals? You've got Atalanta, that's Italy, Leipzig, Germany, Barcelona, Spain, Bayern Munich, Germany, Juventus, Italy, Man City, England, Liverpool, England, Dortmund, Germany. If you didn't count with me, that's 3 German teams, 2 English teams, 2 Italian teams, and a Spanish team. 3 German teams. 3 German teams, by the way, with arguably 3 of the best strikers in the world. Lewandowski, Haaland, and Timo Werner. They've got attacking talent. the Bundesliga has been disrespected for a long time. And it's because Bayern Munich wins it so convincingly every single year. But the Bundesliga is deep, man. A big reason why the Bundesliga is so in favor of Bayern Munich, it isn't that Bayern is so much more talented than Dortmund and Leipzig and Leverkusen even, right? These other teams. It's not that they're so much more talented than them. They are more talented, for sure. And they will win most of those matchups a lot of the time. It's that Dortmund and Leipzig and these teams aren't talented enough to consistently beat the bottom rung of the Bundesliga. Because the Bundesliga, from 18 to 2, is the most competitive league in the world. There are a lot of really solid clubs, a lot of really solid teams. To me, that they are the most competitive club in the world, where 15 can beat 4 any week. That doesn't really happen in Spain. Happens in England a little bit more with the Premier League. And I think the Premier League has the best top 6. Then it kind of trails off. You get Norwich in there, a couple easy wins. But it is just another level of competition between the bottom teams and the mid teams. And that's why Bayern dominates. It's not that they're so much better than 2, 3, 4. It's that they are so much better than the bottom half of the league compared to the bottom half of the league against the teams just below Bayern. So Dortmund will get knocked down by the teams in the middle of the pack. Leipzig will get knocked down by the teams in the middle of the pack. And Bayern's just more consistent against them. Right? And that's what makes them dominant. But that's what also prepares teams like Dortmund, teams like Leipzig, who are really good, who can be competitive in the Champions League. It's what allows them to get to the quarterfinals. They have competition all year long. They have a lot of talent. I think the Bundesliga's depth is really underrated. And I think we see that by the teams that are about to make the quarterfinals, in Dortmund, in Leipzig, and in Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern, they have to take care of business against Chelsea. Dortmund will have to finish the second leg off. Same with Leipzig. There could be 0 German teams in the quarterfinals, and this entire segment could backfire. But I think the Bundesliga needs some due respect. I get Bayern wins it every year, but it's a good league. It's a good league, and Bayern's just better at beating middle-tier teams than the rest of them. That's our Champions League breakdown. That's our podcast for this Friday. Fun weekend of soccer. Chelsea-Tottenham coming up this weekend. Some interesting Premier League. But the Champions League next week, it is going to be fun. Chelsea, Bayern Munich at Chelsea. Napoli, Barcelona, that's in Italy. Real Madrid, Man City, that's at Madrid. Olympique Lyon and Juventus, that in France. So a lot of fun. Cristiano Ronaldo playing this weekend. Raheem Sterling, Lionel Messi playing this upcoming week, not this weekend. Bayern Munich playing, Chelsea playing, big names, big clubs, star players. So much fun coming up next week. We'll break it all down on Monday's podcast. Cannot wait for all of it. Super excited for the Champions League. It's finally here. A lot of fun coming your way. You've been listening to the GSMC Soccer Podcast on the GSMC Podcast Network. Check out all the great podcasts on GSMC. More than just soccer. Check out baseball, football, all the sports, weird news. You name it, they have it. Visit us on the web. Like, favorite, share, all those fun things. Support the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at GSMC_soccer and like us on Facebook, GSMC Soccer. All those things really help the show and help us. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Lukas Moore, and we will talk to you next time. This has been the GSMC Soccer Podcast.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.